All right. What do we work on today? Yesterday we added this menu to allow the player to choose what canvas type and medium they want to use. I can choose it. I wanted to make these stay a specific color to indicate they've been chosen. Oh, I think we can do that here by going to the button and let's find style. Guessing I can just paste this style in here and maybe make this a little green. And put focus. All for now. But let's see what that looks like. I might not be able to test this right here. I think it's gonna crash, so I need to. I think I need to just comment this out to test. See what else. Okay, so it does turn green. I want that. Now, I wonder if I turn this one to the same setting. I think if I focus, I think hopefully just setting that to all means, there we go. Okay, so I just want to copy that to the rest of them. So I should be able to do this theme override style, copy that to all of these. For focus. And all of them should be set to focus all. We'll need to do this. Now, can do the same for all these buttons. Go focus mode is going to all. And theme override, style, focus, paste. Now all of these should, well, that's a problem because I want to be able to focus here and here. One on each. And I guess you can't do that. That makes sense. This is where I would check GPT. Because I know there's probably an easy way to code this. I have several buttons. And I want the last one I clicked to stay green. But I want this to be true for two different sets of buttons. Both sets are children of their own respective parents. So I think GPT should give us a pretty reasonable approach to this. Right, so I already have the foundation here for that. So I should be able to take that. And I'm going to just add a couple of variables. We'll go with canvas, and we'll go with medium. Let's see. It's like we're gonna want two different functions. Be for the medium. Still want to pass through button and button name. I don't need some of this, but we'll leave it for now. So now those have their own specific functions. And this code here should swap this to canvas. So this will check, set a color back to normal, set the last click button back to normal, and then set whatever was just clicked to green. So I'll take that, I'll add that down here. Switch this to medium. Okay, that looks like that should work. Turns green. Turns green. Yeah, this is looking like what I want. But you can see I left the focus mode on here. Now, I don't really have to get rid of that extra style that I put in there. I believe as long as I turn off focus, that can just sit there. Nobody will know it's there. Maybe I'll want to use it in the future, maybe not. Probably not. Let's see. So now, cotton duck and gauche. Cool. I did like the text being white though. Let's do it. I feel like this reference code here is not gonna do what I want it to do, but it looks like maybe I can just say get button. We'll see if that works. So not having a problem with it. Add the same for the canvas list here. Alright, see what that does. That did not work. Of course. But maybe instead of this, we would use this. Let's see if that's true. It's not true. Why is it not liking that is the question. Well, let's see, is it as easy as font color equals. button. Property path, base. Okay, add theme. This fails, copy where it's worked. And assume I can just drop this color in here. Okay. It's looking promising. Do that here. Should be white. Give it a try. Oof. Wonder if that'll offset some of the green. No, it doesn't. Well, we don't need the font to be white. What are we thinking? Works just fine as black. Easier to read. Okay. Okay. Now, let's see. Each type should have values. And that should be displayed somewhere. Total cost of the painting should be displayed somewhere. To the side. Maybe. Should each one of these have a label? Cost. What do we think? Steal this font. Do equals, let's just call it 20. center left. I think we want it larger. Maybe. Oh. Well, each one of these, can I paste? No, I gotta do it one at a time. That's fine. For now, we'll just assign random values there. You know, it'd probably be easier if the text was just a number. So let's go ahead and just change that to 20. Position it a little further to the right. We'll duplicate this. Call it $. And it'll be $. Yeah. Make all of these 20. I don't think it matters so much, but at least for editor purposes. And we're gonna want to move all of them. 487. Okay. Now all of these should get a $7. Can't do it that way. Now I could just go in and strip the $sign out in the code and then use the number, but I'd prefer to do it this way. So now I can reach in and grab the cost of each thing and use that and change that much more easily. Where did I put that? Okay, now each thing will get a get let's say child.get node. We want to get the cost. Give it a cost between 20 and 60. It's reasonable. Of course, we gotta set that to a string. Didn't like that. Oh. Button. Well. Why is that not grabbing that? Maybe it's because that needs to be in this if statement. I think that might be it. Because I'm checking if the child's a button. Perhaps it's having a problem with this child here. Maybe that's why. Good evening, Hans. That looks like that's why. Check that out. Any idea? Well, you know, I believe there is a Steam Next Fest in June. So that's our kind of short-term goal, is to have a playable demo at least for June. But registration would then be in May, something like that. So let's see, I need to add together the costs. So let's move this and this up a little bit. And we'll go ahead and add another label. I don't want to duplicate that, but I don't need all these. And we'll put this new one. This is going to be total cost. And we'll move that right here. We want this to be center. Hello, Frank. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Definitely want this. Oops. I want this to do that. That's how we want that to behave. Total cost. Oh. Okay. Lots of progress so far. Well, first off, I'm doing well. Second off, give you a quick look at what we're working with. It's a 2D pixel art merchant sim, so to speak, where you're an art collector. You have, we'll disregard the story, but you have artists that come in, they tell you a little bit about the piece of art that they're trying to sell you. You can assess what kind of art, canvas, medium. You can buy it, you can sell it. You got people that'll come in and sell you things to make your studio look better, and the better it looks, the different items will have attributes, increased value of paintings, increased likelihood of generating impressions. These impressions that they're producing will, you know, the more positive impressions you get on a painting, the more valuable it becomes, the more people are willing to pay you. Get a little animation here showing you that. Eventually they become stale. People will pay you less the longer the art sits out after that point. Working on the haggle system so that you can persuade customers to you know, spend a little bit more. The better you do, the more they will spend. The worse you do, the lower the value of your sale will be. And as you buy and sell, end of the day, you'll get a report. It's telling you how things went. You can assess, you know, what paintings, what canvases, mediums did well. There's gonna be some play, you know, certain days, certain canvases will be in style, certain mediums will be in style, so you kind of want to play that best you can. Over time, you'll be able to track it. So this has nothing in it, but if I skip the day ahead, everybody leave, come back the next day. Now it should, actually it might not. I think for testing purposes it doesn't delete this, but it will delete your end of day report, start fresh the next day. But it then tracks your previous days. And you should never see this. This really shouldn't result like this. It should only go up because there will be a daily cost for keeping your store open. So if you did have a line that was below here, you've lost the game. You need to keep enough money. Oh, Frank. Okay, yeah, maybe I didn't recognize the name. But thanks for tuning in again. And yeah, so you should be able to upgrade the store. You know, I have inflated amount for testing, but you know, the more money you get, the more you can buy. The more of the store you unlock, the more people will show up, as you can see. The game becomes a little more hectic where you're trying to run around and address everybody. See, before it gets to the point where you're getting stale impressions. The longer it sits out like that. See, obviously now I'm not making nearly as much as I could have. Thinking you'll be able to upgrade by new studios, maybe operate multiple studios at a time, so as you get better, more costly paintings, they can sit out longer and build value longer, so perhaps get to a point where you can actually leave the store and go to your other studio, and then you got to play a game of, you know, managing multiple places at a time. And then there's this little bit where you'll also be able to make your own art. I think I might crash the game right here once I click on something. If I click paint. Nope, guess not. So here we can make our own art. And we can title it, I'll call this Frank CC. And here we go, now it sits here. We can see that we actually keep the type that we chose. And, you know, store that data. And we can sell this. Currently that's what I'm working on. What, you know, how does the cost work for the canvas and medium? And, you know, how's that going to affect the price of the painting? And there will be a whole arc of progression for your own painting skill, how much value you can sell the painting for. Thinking that there will be a system where the more times you buy and sell your own art, the more valuable it becomes, because, you know, you can infer that it's exchanging hands outside of your store. Thank you. But yeah, the more you buy and sell your own art, the more valuable it becomes. Currently it's set up so that once I sell this, somebody else can come back and sell it to me. But you know, I'll never end up with a duplicate of it. It's kind of its own entity that goes out into the world, and you can see now that's added here to the list of sold player art. There's the title, Frank CC. So yeah, kind of where the game plays at so far. Still a lot to do, definitely a lot to do with the story. You know, it's kind of kind of a work in progress. Just in the beginning stages, but if I press this button, it'll start the process for introducing the game. A little bit of exposition, tell you what you need to do. Tell you to go upstairs and meet the boss man. I'll say, hey, where you been? I'm just gonna skip through this text. It's all sort of placeholder. We're just working through the functionality here. You can give yourself a name. See, look at that. Where's my name? Thinking about adding a mechanic where the guests will drop trash, so you not only are you trying to buy and sell at the right times and haggle with people, but you're trying to keep your store clean, trying to upgrade it so that it looks the best, so that you can make the most money. It was only a little bit more of the story here before it gets into, placeholder, but we got to slowly introduce the haggling system and how you can actually haggle. You know what? And it's worth asking. What are your thoughts on on this haggle? I've heard it's perhaps a little too confusing or hectic. We wanted to try to create something that's like you're actually haggling rather than just to guess a number. Are they happy with how high you did it or how low you chose? But it can be a little hectic to defend the painting from the customers, negative statements like, that's too much, and at the same time do this QTE, quick time event type of thing. Yeah, there's a little error here. It should say the full sentence, but something about when you make an error, it like skips one of the words. But you can see it's kind of like you're saying the right words in order to convince the person to buy it. And I've heard maybe this is too much. As you get better at it, you can hit the right letter and defend at the same time. But thinking about making it even more difficult, maybe customers have different attacks, so to speak. So it's not just one thing you're defending, it's multiple. Maybe they move in different, more complicated ways. Yeah, I'm not sure if you had seen the quests here, but I threw these together, so now you can actually track, profit 5 times, sell for a loss 5 times. And those kind of generic quests will just expand as you profit 5 times, then you'll have to profit 10 times, profit 25 times. Maybe that gets you more experience. Maybe that gets you items. I'm not really sure what completing the quests will reward you with. Minigame looks pretty good. Thanks. Yeah, we originally kind of had an idea where there'd be multiple different minigames. They'll end up being techniques you use. There's thoughts of a card system in there, but currently we're liking to go a little bit deeper with one rather than wide with a whole bunch. So yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks, Frank. Catch you later. Difficult setting to balance this out. Yeah, I've heard that perhaps instead of both at the same time, you have a quicker QTE. You have to press these buttons quickly, and then it's like you've made a statement and then they say their own phrase back to you, like, yeah, I don't really know about that, and that's the thing you then have to defend. So it's sort of like a turn-based thing. One is enter the keys right, then it's use your mouse to defend. And I'm starting to think that might be the better way to do it. Difficulty curve to start out with might be a little too much. But yeah. Now the cost is gonna be, you know, we're gonna do 2 labels actually. Go ahead and make this font, this color, this size. I'm gonna place it right here. Actually. Yeah, maybe for now we'll just do this. And we'll place this down here. That way that number can expand to the right. And we will just create a couple variables here. This will be building can. There we go. Now this way, each button has a node cost. So we can go into the button press canvas. And we can say button.get node cost dot text. That's going to be a number, so we can say that canvas chosen canvas cost equals the text. We're actually going to set these to 0 to begin with, that way. That way. The total cost starts out at 0. And when you click it, we're going to want to say that this new variable, total cost equals 0. Total cost is going to equal this plus chosen medium. And that's gonna happen. Total cost. Yeah. Do pretty much the same thing here. Chosen medium cost. Button get node cost text. And I want to make that an integer. That way total cost ends up being a number. And then I think we probably want to set the text here when we click it. So total cost. So why don't we make that already? Just do that. That way we can do total cost label dot text equals string of total cost. Now I'm thinking that should just work. Feels like that should just work. 59, 89. It looks like that just works. Easy as that. And now currently we save the choices in the game because every time I click, not only is it setting this label here equal to what I'm clicking. Thanks for checking in, Hans. Take care. So not only do we set that label when we click it, but we set the easel variable. So we're going to want to set that variable for the wholesale cost of the painting. So if I go to the easel, you can see that we have medium canvas and wholesale cost. Currently hard coded in as 20, but if we go into our choice canvas medium choice script here, and we also set, actually, you know what, we don't want to do it there, we want to do it right at the end. And set it so no matter which button you press, it's going to continually update that cost. Now the only problem here that we're facing is that if you don't select one, you can still hit paint. So I could either do one of two things. I can either default select the first two, and that will default a value so that you can't paint without having a cost associated with it. Or I make it so you can't paint until you've clicked one of each, canvas and medium. I like the first option better. because I feel like it's easier. In that case, once this popped up, it wouldn't default to a value here. I mean, it wouldn't default to 0. If I make that 0. This kind of looks better rather than it already being set. Just add that for testing purposes here. Now I think I should be able to click one without breaking it. Rather than it defaulting here, I could make it just default to a random one. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. On ready, I should. After I go ahead and set those values, I should say both of these equal no, I should just run both functions. That's what I should do. And the button should be this is see, what would be the easiest way to randomly select a child? How about something like this? So we're going to go ahead and take you know what? Why don't I just take this function here, put this into GPT. This already goes through all the buttons. It sets a cost for the item, the buttons. represent. I want to set the variables random canvas, random medium equal to the randomly selected button for each canvas type and medium type. What would I add? Takes the thinking out of programming. You gotta love it. I mean, there's a nice middle ground here because, you know, you got to think about what it is you want in order to ask GPT. This is a great, quick way to learn. So that's an interesting way that it wants to do that. It wants to just append each button to an array and then choose one out of the arrays, which I'm not mad at it. It's a decent way to do it. And that way I can just go in here and I can set a couple of variables. And I can append each button to those arrays. And then I can throw this in here. And now that I have those randomly selected, I can take these functions and just insert those randomly selected buttons, run those functions for each one in order to simulate clicking. So random canvas will be here. And I think I could probably do random medium dot name. If I use the name anywhere. Let's see if that works. It did not work. I don't think it likes name. Get item name might be the way. Get item name. Now I think maybe because it's a copy, it's not actually giving me what I'm looking for here. Okay. Well, let's see what GPT thinks. Oh, just .name. Yeah. It's not a function. It's just a property. There we go. Now I can change it. It should be a randomly selected one each time. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Okay, what did I comment out here that I need to fix? Yes, stop the player movement. And it does set the wholesale cost. So now currently, the value that you'll get from a customer is based off of the wholesale cost. So now that this isn't hard-coded as 20, the value that you'll get is not around 20. It's going to be whatever you ended up paying for it, plus or minus a percentage. So I need to work on the math involved that will say if this is a player-made painting, then it should be a lower, even lower percentage that they're willing to pay you, because I want it to be so that as you improve your painting and sell more of your own art, that people are more willing to pay, you know, more money. So I think if I were to go to a customer, we can see that see. The random disposition is what's really affecting how much they're willing to pay. It's 80% or 120%, somewhere in between. Now, I'll need to add a factor, a variable that's sort of, you know, player artist notoriety. So that way, it'll take the wholesale cost, it'll make a decision 80 to 120%, and then it'll change that based off of your notoriety. So maybe I'll start out 50% of the randomly selected, 80 to 120%. I'm not sure if that's how I want to handle that. And then, of course, as you become more well known, it would slowly increase over time. But is that what I want to start working on right now? Why don't we take a look and see what these changes did. And now I should be able to come down here. I'll just throw in a frame so we can paint something. Now here's our selection board. Randomly chooses birch watercolor. Change that to most expensive. 60, 45, 53. Price paper gauche. 113 is what it should cost me. What should I paint? Anybody got an idea? Start with change the background color. A little dark. do white on red. Here we go. There we go. Oops. I'm gonna disconnect that key. There we go. There's our beautiful painting. We can see it did retain that value, 113. Let's plop it in here, buy some art. See if anybody buys my painting. Meanwhile, let's buy a little bit of, let's see, ooh. Greatly increase value of paintings. Come on, here we go. Look at that. So there's that 113 wholesale cost. They're offering me a little bit more, and because of the positive impressions this painting has received, the value's even higher. It's worth even more. I could stop here, or I could haggle. Let's see how much I can get haggling. And again, this should, you know, this will change a little bit. Might make this a little bit easier. And that way we can grow the difficulty over time. $225. Oh yeah, you think so? Yeah, we've been, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, we, try to make it a little smooth when we can. Slowly learning over time. Kind of follow the same approach. Like that up and down here of this menu, very linear and maybe jagged, but the most recent one that I was working on was this. You can see this one's a little more fluid. Maybe it's a little too aggressively fluid, but you know, kind of bounces out of the way. So, you know, this is a problem you gotta watch out for when you're actually playing this game. If you're not paying attention, I can't interact with a customer while I got a painting in my hand. So now, come up here, carrying a painting, and I gotta go all the way back down, place that painting, you know, wherever I might have an open spot here. Now go sell something. Clear up some space. Punish the player for not paying attention to, you know, what they have in their store. Yeah, I spent a little bit of time on this one. I'm pretty proud of how you know, these fly up and down these papers. Mixed pixels. So you're saying, you know, like the resolution here, you know, the size of the character art, size of the frames, the size of this. Is that what you mean by mixed pixels? Because we are kind of all over the place with that. Oh, you like the sound work? Yeah, a lot of this, you know, we were definitely focused primarily and have been focusing primarily on the functionality. I think the character art, we're pretty solid sticking with that, so everything will sort of kind of work around that, but all of this background kind of subject to change here. And yeah, making sure everything feels like it belongs with each other, pretty important. But yeah, for now we've really just been focusing on the functionality, getting these base systems together. But we will need to make a pretty strong decision on the cohesive art style, so that we can really dig deeper into these systems and not have to do a bunch of rework as time goes on. And, you know, I like this. It's pretty satisfying to me to be able to track your sales throughout the day. And hopefully over time, you know, you play 30 in-game days, and this next one will show a nice growth. Hopefully a nice growth. The graph here. So what should I work on next? I'm kind of satisfied with how this is turning out. I don't really want to dive too deep into the progression of the player art skill and how that impacts the value of the painting and how much they'll sell. Because that would then require me to go into the whole, every day there's a new trending canvas type and medium type, and my brother, who's working on this game with me, started that. See, every day, you know, you'll get out of bed and ideally you come and check out the TV, and they're gonna give you some clue as to, you know, what canvas type is in style, what medium is in style, and what's out of style. And so one of them is going to be more valuable, one of them is going to be, you know, really not worth it. And that way you're prepared in the day, not only to know what of your own art you'd want to sell because it's going to be worth more. And I think these values will change. You know, this part doesn't make a lot of sense to me if I go down this road. These values change every day. Then the implication there is that you're buying the canvas and the medium in the moment when you go to make the painting, which is kind of weird, but it would work better for this system because we want it so that the player is investing in their art progression. You know, they're actually making art. They're choosing wisely what they want to make it on, has been the canvas and the medium they want to use. Hopefully they're investing in these frames that they can place in their apartment, and they are making various paintings and going, oh, I see today this is in style, and this one isn't, whatever this might be. I'm gonna go sell this one, that way they can capitalize the most, make the most off of their art, continue to put their art out there and increase their skill, progress their, you know, player artist arc. And then of course when they go to buy a painting, they can look and go, oh, this is a papyrus watercolor. I know both of these are out of style, so if I buy that and put it down, people are gonna then come in and go, ugh, I don't want to buy that, and it's gonna be, you know, you'll have wasted some money. So there'll be an actual reason to choose no when an artist offers you a painting. And, you know, you'd want to go, rather than get that, I'll wait for the next guy to come around and he's gonna offer me, oh, a synthetic canvas type. That's, you know, I want to take that one. Oh man, that's awesome to hear. Yeah, we went through a couple of game ideas, and then this one, you know, we both latched onto. We thought it kind of, we like this sort of cozy style. Definitely like the merchant sim type of game. We wanted to do something special with haggling, you know, try to do our own spin on a haggle system. Yep. So NPCs have different taste in art. Currently, it's kind of a shallow different taste in the sense that, you know, they come in with a random, they're spawned with a random disposition towards, you know, how much they'll pay. And you're really only gonna, so far, interact with them once. If they go to buy something like this, you know, they have a certain amount that they're gonna offer you. And we're thinking that that's gonna change, like I said, based on what's in style. But each NPC, you know, when they spawn, has their own, you know, how much are they willing to pay for any art. It's not really based on which one they go to, because currently they kind of mill around, they randomly select one to go interact with, so they'll kind of bounce around, give thoughts, and then eventually they go, oh, there's an open one, I'm gonna go interact with that one. And they already have, you know, I'm only gonna offer 85% of whatever this value, you know, whatever the player paid. And again, we want, you know, there's some balancing and tweaking to the math involved there, but yeah, like I said, you know, they'll offer a certain amount, and then that'll go up based off of the impressions that it has. It'll go down based off of how stale the painting is, and then it's changed by how you haggle. Now, I'd be interested in getting some perspective here, because currently you can see we kind of have an experience bar, and your experience grows as you get positive impressions on art. So the more people will come by and give, you know, their positive thoughts on something, the longer you let a painting sit and cook for. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's actually from a cozy pixel art pack found on itch.io, and we made a program that will generate different ones based off of a whole bunch of different clothing, you know, hairstyles and everything. But yeah, so currently you gain experience by letting these paintings cook, getting these positive reviews of stuff, and obviously selling just before it turns stale and people start giving negative impressions. Now, that's the question. What happens when the bar is full? So we wanted to tie it to your haggle system, because you know, we're thinking of having different, you know, this ramp up in difficulty as you progress. You know, you'll run into art critics. They might be more difficult to haggle with. Snobby art people And so defending the art from whatever their, you know, their negative opinions of the art while you're haggling, as well as effectively navigating through that quick time event, we want to modify by skills, and you would get skills by leveling up. So the higher your level, the more skills you have, the easier you're going to make it. Maybe the more you'll be able to get out of a haggling event. So if we are gaining experience for letting these paintings cook and getting positive reviews, I don't really want to then give experience for completing these quests. And, you know, the quests will give the player something else to focus on other than just, you know, oh, buy, sell, buy, sell. It's like, okay, no, I want to focus on making sure I get 5 paintings bought, or, you know, 25 paintings bought in a day as you progress. And you'll see there's some like lose $100 from sales, so it seems kind of counterintuitive. Why would you want to do that? Well, if you have a quest that's telling you to lose 100, as long as it's not like a ridiculous amount that the player wouldn't want to complete that quest, then it's, you know, a goal that you can strive for. Probably these quests will be day, you know, you only have a day to do it. I'm not sure. All right, well, hey, thanks for checking in. Feel free to subscribe if you want. You'll be able to see when I hop on, but I really appreciate you coming and checking it out, giving me your feedback. But yeah, where was I? So obviously quests something that you can do, but what do I give the player for completing the quest? I don't really want to give experience because then, you know, I'm stacking too much. Oh, you already subscribed. Nice. So yeah, other than experience, I was thinking, you know, we plan on having a lot of kind of old-timey music in here. And so maybe kind of like Animal Crossing, where you can get different songs that have played in your house. In this case, you're in a studio, you're gonna be hearing background music the whole time. You can get different songs by completing quests, or perhaps different items, because once I made this frame, realized why not have a whole bunch of stuff that you can deck your apartment out with, different chairs, different bed, lights. It wasn't too hard to implement a thing, you know, that you can only place in specific areas. So could absolutely make a chair that can only fit in a certain, you know, Y level, X level. So trying to figure that out currently. Hmm. Perfect. Okay. So I need to go down here. I gotta test this now. I think I just fixed it. Looked like I wasn't. Like when I made something here, I would pay for it, 102. And here would be my picture. And now that I've made it, I can look at my report and see that I paid that 102. It wasn't tracking when I you know, if I sold this painting and then bought it back from somebody, it wasn't tracking that additional purchase because it didn't look like I was adding that to the list. I was only adding it to the events if it was a customer, I mean an artist's painting and it wasn't the player's painting. I had that line one tab too far, so now I think you can see I'll buy this one. You can see there's definitely. Oh. I shouldn't have doubled up on that. I think the cost. When I put it in the store frame. I don't want that, actually. I don't want that to cost me when I put it. Oh. That is interesting. How do I handle that? I could handle it with, if it's an artist. So I could add it here. Maybe that's the easiest way to do it. It'd be nice to keep it all together. But it makes sense to have to pay the money once you make the art. Which is what happens. So if I go to store frame, I can take this. If I go to artist selling event, this is where the artist actually sells me the painting. If it is a player painting, should add that to the events. Impressions. would be 0. Scale impressions would be 0. And if we look at where you actually make the art, it is here. Actually, it's in tool. So once you enter the title, add end of day report. So that is you actually paying for the painting as it relates to showing up in this report here. You don't actually end up paying for it yet, but that shouldn't be too hard. Status signal. Now, why do I do that? That's the buying event. No, we want to do. Wallet. And you want to find that in the here. Emit this signal.
Does a rooster's cock-a-doodle make a hen go off her noodle? If he does, then baby, I love you.
We do want it to be when you press enter. So that would be in here. Easel wholesale cost. Okay, so I can do this. Emit that signal. Although I don't think that signal is declared here, so I need to go back to
Does the goose love to meander when she's found the propaganda?
get this.
Has an eel got sex appeal? Does a big giraffe love necking? Does he?
No, you've got the signal, but we need to connect.
Does a herring feel quite tickled just as soon as he gets pickled? If he does, then baby,
So I think maybe the first thing we do when you enter is we go world dot player wallet info emitted connect world you know what, it's not even the world, it's UI control. On player wallet updated.
Hang on to me, I'd like to hang you on my family tree. We gotta get together, better start it now. You're over there, I'm over here. Come over closer and lend me your ear. We gotta get together, better start it now.
Actually, this is what I want right here.
Never found just what you've been looking for.
I need to go to where I emit the signal. I'm gonna do this. UI control on ready. I'll just copy this. I can find UI control. Now I know what that is. I can emit the signal, or I can connect myself to that function, and then I can emit the signal. Down here. That way I can change the value. So now when I reset the game, ideally I can come down here. What's that? Let's choose an oak ink, $87. Now when I draw this, let's do oak ink. We call it oak ink. Come on now. Now it cost me 87. It actually updated my wallet, and when I open up this menu we can see that I spent that 87. Haven't sold it yet. Now I should be able to take this up. Come up here, place it in here. That shouldn't. There we go. So it only charged me that one time. And I'll buy this, and you'll see that'll show up on our report as well. And we just gotta wait for somebody to buy it. There we go. There it is. We can see its corresponding purchase. Made 2% on that. Now we wait for somebody to sell it to us. I think right now it's hard coded a 20% chance that they'll sell you your own art. Here it is, 87. Now I think that I press that green button, it should show up here as another purchase. Maybe it's when I place it. That's not working right. Artist selling event. If I guess I don't actually want that there. I would want it on green button pressed if I can afford it. That's probably where I would want it. If player art is true. Maybe I'd actually want it here. This should only be in the case of it being the player art. We want to add this info. Okay, let's take another look at this. We want last thing is a purchase and a sale of oak ink. We want a purchase. Here we go. Okay. There's a purchase. And that is not what we want. Might as well print selected portrait here. Now, I would expect if we were to buy it that this is what we would see it print. The path to that image the player creates. So here it is. When I click green button, it printed 46, which is corresponding to this image we're seeing here. So that's not right. See, selected portrait. Set it here. Okay, so that actually should fix the issue. Now, I don't think we can actually we can't actually buy my art here until we sell it. So now that we've sold it, it's back out in the world. Somebody should sell it. Here it is. And now when I click this, we want to see a path. There it is. And that way it should show up here as our art. But the problem we're seeing now, and it did show up as a sale here, which is what we want. But you can see it's corresponding to this original one. Because this goes through all the events and it checks to see if there's already an existing one. So this should correspond to this, but as we go further and find the next oak ink, that shouldn't relate back there. And I think that's because the end of day report actually is checking for a name.
It seems that you do everything so perfectly. You're so gosh darn charming. Why, just to look at you is quite enough for me. Smiles that you gave me, they made me feel that nothing now can save me. I'm aware there's danger if I care too much, but oh, you're so darn charming.
Painting title, that's a problem here. What I'm checking to see is if it has the same painting title. It's probably not the best way to do it. What I should do is print rect name. I think if I do that, I think each this is tough. It's currently what I'm doing is checking the name of the painting, and these paintings, there's a chance you end up with the same name, but it's pretty low chances that these random paintings will be the same. But if it's your art, there's a pretty good chance that you'll end up with the same name, because it's always gonna have the same name.
Same old question 20 times a day. I swear by stars above you. Do I? Don't I? You're not convinced, here's all that I can say.
So here,
Does an elephant love peanuts? Does he? Does a goldfish love a bowl? Does an
event
ostrich
1,
love
event
a
2.
sand pile, his head down in a sand pile? Does a hot dog love a roll?
But that's not gonna help us. The only way that we identify to highlight both at the same time is if they have the same name. And that's how we know here, this, this and this are the same painting. But they're event 2 and 3. So it works fine as long as it's a NPC created art, but if it's player art and I buy and sell the same piece of art multiple times in one day, then that's a problem. I could either, I guess, make it so the same piece of art won't show up twice in one day, and that solves this problem. Or I give it I add something to the title. Like first purchase, second purchase, third purchase, every time you purchase the same painting. That way the title's different. You know, when you buy it and you sell it, it'll have the same first purchase title for both buy and sell, but I don't know that I like that. Doesn't really make a lot of sense for you to buy the same, you know, I make the painting, I sell the painting, later that day I come in, someone comes in and they try to sell it to me, and I buy it and sell it, and then again somebody tries. Maybe it should be limited to just once a day. You can buy any given painting that you've made. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Does the herring feel tricycle just as soon as he gets pickled? If he does, then maybe I...
But I think that's it for today. We made some good progress with the canvas medium chooser menu here. I fixed a little bit with that daily report. So thanks for tuning in, guys. And we'll run it back tomorrow. Catch you later.